Guys, so the goal here is to discuss a couple of key questions that are relevant for the industry. And what I will do right now is I will raise the question on the chat, also to invite people that are on the call to get into this discussion on the chat. So the first question is, what are the biggest challenges in the technology adoption in the construction industry? And this question is especially relevant because of the pandemic situation and kind of whether it actually changed anything. So Jeremy, maybe you could start.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I think I was thinking about this a lot. Honestly, education. So, I mean, this is one of the main reasons that I'm certainly here. I'm sure some of the other speakers are here as well, is just to share some of these different solutions and how drone data and site reality capture can really help. And I think, think of Justin's talk and describing the kind of aha moments as you show people what can be done with this, and you still, it's really fun. You still get to have those aha moments, but that's an indication that it's not kind of universally understood that this is kind of available and kind of has the impact that we know it can. So I think that's one of the large things, is just showing people where the benefit can be and how easy it is to use and how you can kind of drive value, and then also how you can go and start integrating that into every single job site.
So what you're basically saying is that building awareness is kind of probably the key challenge.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the really fun things about working in the industry is you get to really partner with your customers, because again, the people you're talking to are the either in the kind of innovation group or technology evangelists within those companies. And so there's maybe some initial selling at the beginning, but after that, you are working with them to sell this to their company and to their customers and within their company. And so that's one of the really fun things, is getting to kind of help and partner with people, and they can say, okay, let me show you how we kind of improved ROI on this one particular site, and then we can then present that to other people in my company. And so that's a large part of what we do, is kind of education awareness around that.
All right, Justin, what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, the pandemic has actually, I'd say, positively impacted us. I don't think it's positively impacted many people, but we've seen a big uptake in cloud-based subscriptions because people have been forced to work remotely. And that's benefited us because they've suddenly been forced down that route, and now they realize the benefits and they want to continue. That's the thing. I think the industry has fundamentally changed over the last 18 months. I think it almost took that hard push for people to really test the waters and suddenly go, you know what, this isn't just a gimmick. The cloud really can solve a lot of problems. Now with drones, again, what a toy. Why do you want one of those? You just want to go around and fly it and buzz around. I'd convinced my manager that I could get one on company expenses because it was going to promote our software and allow our customers to see greater workflow efficiencies. And within the first 2 engagements I did with a couple of our enterprise clients, it paid dividends, and they saw that feedback. And Autodesk has got we've probably got about 50 drones throughout the organization that are registered, and it's not our business, but it's having this impact on how people can take our software and do even greater things with it. And as I said, if you don't have to set foot on a construction site, that is a good thing, because you're improving safety, costs, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Only essential workers. All right, Adam.
Yeah, I agree with both gentlemen, actually. And I think it's very hard to speak of COVID as something positive, but let's think of that something good might come out of it. Definitely, as we know here, construction industry has always been known as a laggard of any technology adoption. And I think there was even this McKinsey report that was showing the increase of productivity in different industries. And you would have, like in pharma in the last 10 years, like 70% increase, right? Stuff like this. And then at the end of the scale, you would have game and fishing and construction, 1% increase, like over like 10 or 20 years. And I think it was very illustrative to show that this was very difficult industry to implement new stuff. It's one of the oldest industries on the planet, basically, if you think of it, right? So it's very traditional. However, I think with the talk about digital transformation happening, digital twin, stuff like this in the last decade, the COVID really pushed it over the ledge. So basically, right now, what the DroneDeploy is seeing, what Autodesk is seeing, what we are seeing, is absolutely really accelerated. Yeah? And just to give you an example, when we were doing the first projects with clients, I would sell the project literally over the phone. Yeah, like to do a POC, stuff like this, to take them in. Right now, we have guys from the site calling in on Teams or Google Meet on pretty much daily basis to participate. They're excited about dashboard stuff that even a year ago we started seeing. Right now, it's really rolling. So right now, it's only willingness of organizations to kind of re-engineer maybe a way they are doing, because the drones, all the tools, they require certain re-engineering of the processes that are happening here. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. So let's take another question that actually relates to what you guys were mentioning, or you, Adam, at the end. So you said that initially they were actually using phones rather than Teams on the construction site, and this has changed. So that we see this evolution. So no, I wanted to, and we also need to convince the people that it's actually useful for them at the construction site. So when it comes to building useful features, and we've talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to discuss it a little bit further. So what can we expect in roadmaps within your organizations when it comes to making life easier for these guys, and like what are the key challenges that you see? I mean, depending on what you have planned. Jeremy.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we touched on this a little bit in the questions after my talk, but I think certainly integration of a lot more of that design material. So I think Justin showed the overlays compared to the actual maps, and you can see that's where the real value comes from, and this kind of progress, and obviously the progress tracking that Adam's doing. So I think just a lot more of that. And as I say, one of the things we're doing next is moving to 3D, bringing 3D BIM data in. I think the challenge is obviously how do you align those up when inherently some of the things aren't aligned because they've built it wrong or what have you, and you've got non-georeference data versus georeference data, and you've got a kind of proliferation of different file formats and vague file formats for some of these design files that make it very difficult to kind of ingest some of that. So those are some of the challenges, but I think where we're going is bringing more of that data in, the 3D BIM data, the 2D PDFs and kind of CAD data, and then moving towards automatic alignment with the real kind of reality capture. And that allows you to kind of move towards the kind of automation that Adam's been talking about with the real progress tracking and saying, okay, well, this has been built, but this is actually not in the correct location compared to the design file, or the solar panel example I really loved was like, you're building these solar panels, we are 50% through the construction of these solar panels, and kind of automatically getting those answers for you.
All right. And Justin, what you guys are working on?
Okay, I guess real quick. What the interface that I showed you earlier is the desktop version, but everything that you're seeing, whether it's document management, field management, asset control, blah blah blah, this is all mobile supported. So whether it's on a tablet or on a phone, you have the same access to your information, viewing the models, creating checklists, markups, RFIs, whatever it is. It's on your mobile device. You have that access to a central repository. Now, with the drone information coming in on top of it, if I need to update on site context, I have that in my hand. I don't need to trudge back to a site office, waste time. You could be an hour away from a site office if you're climbing up and down scaffolding or whatever, and you're taking time out. It's there in your hand. Now, if we can start to look at the AI, as Jeremy said, and the reality capture is saying, well, you know what, you're 50% complete on this installation automatically. That is doing the sort of, the dull, repetitive work. If it's counting things, and people can get on actually constructing, I think. So that's the way that we're going. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Justin. Adam.
Yeah. So this is great to hear, actually, that we all think kind of alike, and definitely to solve this huge industry, a lot of issues. I can tell you that from our perspective, what we will be doing in the next, I think, years to come is actually integration with the coming and broader solutions from different clients, what they're using. So whether it's like Microsoft BI or someone using Autodesk Assemble, or there's so many tools that even the integrations is a work in itself, actually, to commit. But I think what's actually biggest challenge that we will be facing and challenge and a potential gain for everyone is actually to accelerate everything. So because right now the raw data processing sometimes is a bottleneck, and I think the ultimate answer is actually moving stuff to the edge. So doing the processing actually on the edge, on the powerful drones, or on the robots that have better batteries. So working with the NVIDIA, they have this Jetson engine they're developing for many years. So the power, of course, is the problem, but there's a way to to do it. For instance, we actually partner up, and this will be becoming public, I think, right now, with one of the largest construction equipment companies, Doosan, from Korea. I think they're number 3 on the planet, and they have also a drone subdivision with they manufacture hydrogen drones, which allow you to fly like 300, 400 minutes in the air with a huge data source, power source, actually, to fuel this. This is only the beginning, but I think ultimately it has to go to the edge. So to streamline everything, yeah, because the guys fly and they get the drone lands and they get the results pretty much immediately. Even right now, of course, it's better than the human way, because you have to go to the field. It takes weeks, basically, if so. And with getting this to the edge is done. Looking at Alex, I know my time is up, so I will end my part.
Not at all. No, from what you guys said, like probably the general answer is that it's all about bringing efficiency and taking off the workload from people in the field, right? So this is kind of all about building this automation, kind of saving their time.
I think it's solving one other issue that we don't address here: not enough of workforce anywhere. So it doesn't matter whether it's Europe, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Texas. There are not enough of people to survey, to control, and even to construct.
Okay.
So there's this only way to go forward.
This is especially relevant, I guess, in Japan, right? Because they've got aging society, and yeah.
If people can get an idea of where it's going, Civ Robotics, go and check that out. Drone is doing digital setting out. It's actually flying out, drilling stakes into the ground on a long infrastructure project, instead of a human going out there with a total station. It can do in minutes what a person with a total station could do in a day, days. It's insane.
Cool. So now talking, referring to what we were talking some time ago, land surveyors will fear that they will lose their jobs. All right, guys. So now looking at the time, this is probably the last question that I will ask. So now, what do you see is really the future of construction, and what is the next big thing that we should expect, we should invest, we should wait for? Okay, Jeremy.
So I think again, I mentioned some of this in the talk I gave earlier, but I think full automation of certainly of the kind of reality capture. So that's the drones in boxes taking off every hour, mapping a construction site. That's the drones, the walking, the drone dogs in kennels walking around construction sites every hour, and that kind of full automation all the way through, tying in the analysis and the kind of machine learning that Alan's been talking about as well. So you've just got this all this information coming through, the actual actionable, useful results and actions can be taken at the end of it on a kind of regular basis. And so it's just streamlining all of that and making that kind of automatic. That's one of the things you see. And I think the two most exciting parts there is the machine learning piece, the analysis, and obviously like the full automation on the robotics side.
Awesome. Justin, what's your take on this?
Absolutely. I put the report in there from McKinsey, but it is absolutely industrialization of construction. It is machine learning and AI. There is a fundamental difference between the two. I should have actually put machine learning there. And it is DFMA, design for manufacturing assembly. So it's doing as much off-site as possible. That's what we're focusing on.
All right, Adam.
I think I mentioned a bit in the last question in terms of that we see the edge. So actually, edge computing as something new frontier, and it will definitely be something of a grail of where we are heading. But in general, the industry, it's what will be happening, and you will be seeing, and I mean everyone here is will be seeing modularization of construction. So everything that can be modularized, like hotels, office buildings, shopping malls, will be actually built in factories, delivered on site to accelerate the construction, streamline it, so less people involved, and you can pretty much deliver the same quality everywhere on the planet. You maybe don't know it, but there are actually dozens of buildings and factories being built right now in that way, pretty much in every country. And this is just a huge segment that you will be hearing about in coming years. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I guess that looking at what you guys said, I remember a certain quote. One of the, I think, Austrian kings said about 100 years ago, I don't believe in automobile. I think that horse is the future. So this is kind of probably summarizing something that I wanted to say about the adoption and kind of convincing workers in the field that there is a value in this. So this is a challenge for all of us, I guess, who are within this industry, but this will happen, right? Sooner or later, and this has been accelerated, unfortunately, for all of us, but fortunately for many industries over the past year and a half.
The future is here.
The future is here. That's right.